What's up, you guys? It's Yasmin here, your favorite girl. Today's topic, you guys, is going to be about notice how you act when you feel triggered. I'm gonna be very serious and honest about this. Even in past videos, I said that I was going to make a video about the story of what happened to me in these last 3 months, because as you know, for the people who have been following me for a long time, I opened this YouTube channel in June 2023. So I decided to open this channel, you guys, so that I could help other people, because I made a promise to myself that I was going to in 2023 that I was going to start a self-development journey, and that I was always going to do what my higher self would have done, right? But it's not always that easy. So this is why I created this YouTube channel. But of course also I made this channel to share with you guys my covers and stuff, because I want to be a singer and an actress, inshallah, successful one. But yeah, it was this YouTube channel was kind of my way to make a firm promise to myself about this journey, because by sharing advice, I'm also giving advice to myself. And but I thought that just because I was giving to you guys advices, then I was already perfect. I didn't understand that these advices were actually from me. So the fact is that when you give advice, you think that you've already learned that thing. But a lot of times I come here and advise you guys to do a lot of things which I didn't really even do, So for what concerns, for instance, what happened to me in these last 3 months, I started to procrastinate a lot, and I completely forgot about my self-development journey. So I was completely breaking the promise that I had made to myself. So I was I completely lost myself, and alhamdulillah, now I am back. I restarted praying, and all this, alhamdulillah. So it's the key as you'll see in a video that I'm going to edit and publish right here, is of course starting with prayer. But in another videos, for instance the one of me advising you to go back to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and stuff, whilst I didn't even go back to him, it was there's no, let's say, things do not coincide. I don't know if you say this in English, coincide, but it's if you say something, if you give advice and stuff, you gotta make it coincidence to that thing. It's not that you say that you're going to do something and that you're not going to do it. So for what concerns, for instance, this YouTube channel, I give advice. Most of the things most of the things that I advise you to do are things that I've already made and that I've already learned. So that's why I'm here giving you advice. But for what concerns other things, actually, it was just me advising you to do that, let's say, just thinking that it was going to be simple. But when I did that, it was hard for me as well. So actually, I think that if you're going to advise someone something, you gotta have lived that thing as well. So it's I was pretending, let's say, or advising you guys be consistent, be disciplined and stuff, whilst I wasn't even practicing that in my life. So in these last 3 months, I was basically not respecting my promise that I had made to myself, become my best self. I thought, okay, I am just let's say, just because I give advice, so I already know that things, even though I hadn't experienced a lot of that things. So these last 3 months have been like hell because as I was saying to you before, you guys, I completely lost myself, and I started to procrastinate a lot, and I was like, doing a lot of self-sabotage, like, by not being disciplined and consistent and stuff. And that's why you see that my videos didn't like blow up and stuff, because things blow up when they are true. Things blow up when they are real. Things blow up when you're like being loyal to yourself, and you're not like, lying or pretending and stuff. So I said to myself that from now on, I was going to like give advice once I had let's say applicated that advice in my life already. So it's like, I'm not going to advise you guys to be disciplined and to be consistent if I like didn't apply that thing to my life, because you always have to like combine the two things. It's like, I advise, but I then make that thing. So of course, pigeon, that way you of course are going to be inspired as well. Like, you're going to be more inspired because you're going to say, oh, she tried and she succeeded, so maybe if I do it, I'm going to succeed too, so yeah, this is like the first thing that I wanted to talk about. Because maybe you idolize me, you think, oh, she's perfect, she did that's why she's like advising us to do this. No, we're imperfect humans. So that is why I made this YouTube channel, like to basically remind myself as well to like keep going, to like try to be my best self, because the advices that I'm giving are like basically advices that I'm giving to myself first. So I will always make sure from this point on, like this is a promise for 2025, fingers crossed, is like going to it's like this promise is about doing like applying the advice to my life first, being the best version of myself for me first, and then like advising things that I've already made, but not just like pretending that I already did everything, blah blah blah. But now let's get into the topic of today's video, you guys, which is start noticing how you feel triggered around other people. Again, this is a topic that I wouldn't have made if I was still like thinking the way I was thinking before, because I would have been like, oh, but this is not a thing that my highest self would do, like make a video about this. But girl, being your highest self means applying the advice to your life. So it's like not pretending that you're perfect, just pretending that you're trying to be your highest self. What the fuck did I just say? Sorry, it was like this is video I wouldn't have probably made it because before before thinking about this and all of these things that I've said to you, because I would have thought, no, but it's like I shouldn't make a video about this because I am only the best version of myself. But how come that you're only the best version of yourself when you're talking in front of a camera, but you cannot do it when you're off camera? Self-love is about loving yourself and do what's best for you, with or without other people watching you. So this was a big mistake, you guys. And so yeah, the topic of today's video, as I was saying to you before, is like notice how you act in front of other people. Notice how you feel triggered and stuff. For instance, you guys, I'm gonna share an example. In school, even more specifically, if you're like a girl or a boy who has experienced bullying when you were younger, I go to school, right? I am 18 years old, so it's like I experienced bullying when I was younger, when I was like around 12 or 13 years old, 11, 12, and 13 years old. For like 3 years, I've experienced, let's say 2 years and a half, I've experienced bullying in my life. So I know what it feels like to be made fun of. I know what it feels like to feel like, to be disrespected and stuff. And I know how it feels like to not have the power to stand up for yourself, because you feel like you just feel like a people pleaser. You feel like a person who just has to like be okay with everything that other people do to you, because you already come from a mindset like that. Let's say, for instance, I'm gonna share this thing. Once I was like in school, high school, And I was being like, let's say that this thing has changed, has changed during the time, because I learned to stand up for myself and stuff, but I still get those triggers sometimes. Like, for instance, I was in school and I got really disrespected by a girl. Okay, I got seriously disrespected by a girl who was like, making fun of me, like, even in front of my face. She was making in front of me, even in front of my face, like, making jokes and stuff. Not jokes like, let's say, behind your back, but things that she said, she talked out loud so that I could hear those jokes, right? And I was just like, it was like last year, I believe. Yes, it was last year. And I don't know, like, I just freeze, like, the best version of myself would have stood up for her. She would have, like, said, well, what did you say? Like, she was making fun of my YouTube videos and stuff. Like, the highest version of myself, she would have, like, she would have said, yo, bitch, what did you just say? Like, I'm so glad that you watch my YouTube videos, like, that way. So I would have responded. But I don't know why I just, like, completely freezed, and I didn't know. I wanted to respond so badly, but I didn't, like, find the strength to do it. So what happened? All day I kept thinking about that thing, because, again, you guys, overthinking, from where comes overthinking? Overthinking comes from the fact that you incredibly, like, feel disrespected, that you incredibly feel like you feel shit for not having stood up for yourself. That's where basically overthinking comes from. So that day, I would have wanted so bad to respond badly to that girl, but I didn't. Like, just freeze, and that's okay, because of course you get your past triggers and stuff, but it's actually not. It's okay, like, to freeze and stuff, but it's not okay to keep your mouth shut, because I had made a promise to myself. I said to myself that I was going to be my highest self, and that I would have always stood up for myself, because that's what my highest self would have done. And so I stood up for myself. Like, I didn't stand up for myself, and I really felt bad about that thing. Like, I kept thinking about that thing all day long, and I was like, why didn't I respond? Why didn't I defend myself and stuff? You gotta understand, baby girl or baby boy, that change is so scary. Change is so fucking scary. So that thing happened again. Like, this girl with her, like, stupid group of people, she still, like, made fun of me and stuff. So this girl, she still made fun of me and stuff, even in front of my face. It happened, like, the second time I, like, kind of responded. So it was like I kind of responded, but I still, like, I was still, like, in people pleaser mode. So I was still, like, in mode, oh, anything that this person says, I'm it. Because, when I was, like, younger, when I was 12 years old, there was basically this boy making fun of me. And he basically, the beliefs that he had about me, I kept on assuming those beliefs, and I thought that I was that. I thought that I was how he was defining me. So basically, again, this happened as well, like, in high school last year. Basically, this girl, she was making fun of me, and I assumed her opinion, like, her opinions. Like, she thought that I was being ridiculous. She thought that I was, like, being cringe, whatever, and I assumed those things, even though I was like, I love my YouTube channel. Like, I love how I talk. I love how confident I am and stuff. I love everything about me, because I have such a fun personality and amazing personality. But what happened was that afterwards, I was like, I kept on overthinking about, why I hadn't responded, why I didn't stand up for myself, why I kept, like, the second time, why I kind of responded, but, like, I was so, like, I was being, I was feeling, I don't know, I just, like, you just feel anxious when you stand up for yourself if you've never done that. So I just, like, felt as again she was deserving of doing so because I was worthless, because I was da 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 na na na, you know. But then this summer, you guys, I actually experienced what standing up for myself means. Because, you know, I was once on the bus with my sister, and there was this dude that I was like checking on TCATs and stuff, and we just like, you know, we started to argue with this guy. And like, you know, at first, like, argument doesn't really feel like, you start to shake when you stand up for yourself. Like, he was being very disrespectful towards us because he thought that we didn't have our tickets, but we did, you know. So he was like, you know, assuming something that wasn't true. So I got really mad, and I started to, like, you know, stand up for myself. And even though I was shaking, I was shaking, but I liked it. Like, I liked the feeling of like standing up for myself. So what happened again, another time, I was like, I was in the hospital, and there was this very disrespectful nurse that was like, she just saw that I was like, an 18-year-old. She just saw that I was an 18-year-old girl, and that's why she thought that she could say anything to me, that I wouldn't have responded. Like, she was she had a shitty behavior, like, those people with madness and stuff, that they try to like put the madness that they have, they try to put it on you, those exact people. And I stood up for myself. I was like, the best version of myself would stand up for myself, because I don't accept this disrespect, sorry. And I stood up for myself. And it felt incredibly, and I did that with by being ironic. I did that with smiling. I did that with the bitchy face. I did that how I want it, and I started to shake less. Again, in school, another time, this year, I was disrespected again, behind my back, not in front of me. In general, now, of course, if you disrespect me in front of my face, I'll kill the shit out of you, seriously. But 1 year ago, probably I wouldn't have said anything, because of the thing that you keep assuming on other people's opinions, and that you have zero self-love. But alhamdulillah, in this journey, I'm seriously learning to love myself and to do what's best for me, and to protect my little girl, my little kid, which is I even published a video where I say that having a baby picture of you on your wallpaper helps a lot, because every time I see my baby self, I know that people are disrespecting that girl. So I always make sure not to be disrespected for her and for me. So basically, as I was saying to you before, in school, again, I got disrespected this year behind my back, because just in general, people, unless they think of you as a very not threatening person. Like, for instance, last year, I would say that people looked at me in general as an unthreatening person, they wouldn't have feared me and stuff. But now I seriously feel like people fear me, because I make sure that I am respected, and I always make sure that I'm acting as my best self, So what happened was that I was in school, and I was disrespected again, and basically was behind my back. This person was talking shit behind my back when I wasn't there, I wasn't in class. And I immediately got back, I went to the class, and I started to stand up for myself. I was like, if you guys have to talk shit about me, if you guys have to talk shit behind my back, because I didn't know who was talking shit behind my back, so I generally spoke. I was like, if you have to talk shit behind my back, don't do it behind my back, but do it in front of my face. If you have a problem with me, say it to me. like don't be pussies and stuff, you know. And of course everyone just like kept their mouth shut, just like to show you that people love to talk shit behind your back, but would never resonate to have like a, let's say, a confrontation, real confrontation, as mature people should do. So I stood up for myself, you know. And again, happened again, like, you know, in school I felt disrespected and, you know, stood up for myself. Just like here, guys, to remind you that standing up for yourself is a process. It's not that you have to think, I need to stand up for myself like Maddie Perez in Euphoria, just like from today. You try to do it today, but then maybe today you're going to shake when you're going to do it. But you do it 1, 2, 3, 4 times until you know that people like don't want to fuck with you, until you realize that people wouldn't dare to disrespect you because you make them understand that they cannot fuck with you and that there are going to be consequences as fuck. Like, it is, keep repeating this sentence in your head. It is better to be feared than to have people who disrespect you, like, you know. So it sucks to have people who disrespect you in your life because you make them consider you as like a piece of shit. And I'm not saying that you should control every single one's mindset, because everyone is free to think about you what they want. That girl, I can be like, that girl can hate me, that boy can love me, the other girl can think that I'm super funny and that I'm super talented, that other girl would love to like see me die even, or like would love to see me fall and stuff, would love to like see me like, you know, just without anything anymore. Like, people are so ill, like, you know, evil eye video right here. But yeah, you just have to understand that there are going to be a lot of people who are going to hate you, a lot of people who are going to love you. Doesn't matter. You can control how other people perceive you. The thing that you can control is how that person is going to talk how that person is going to talk in front of your face about you. You don't have to accept disrespect ever again if it is like in front of your face, whether it's behind your back. Actually, I'm gonna say this: a lot of people talk shit behind your back. You know, I wouldn't even like pay attention to that, because as the word says, behind your back, you're basically like, you know, talking about people who don't have the balls to talk shit behind you. But if a person is like in front of you and disrespects you by making funny jokes to them, or like by just generally disrespect you because they're having fun, like, send the fuck out of your for yourself. It is your moment. You don't know how it feels good to stand up for yourself. I always, like, you know, thought that it was going to be something bad, that it was going to not something bad, that it was going to be, I always thought that, you know, I always tried to avoid standing up for myself because I didn't want to feel like, you know, I didn't want to shake and stuff. But start thinking that standing up for yourself is easy. Standing up for yourself is funny. Like, right now, I feel I love to argue because it's like, I know that I'm right. Like, you know, of course, argue if you know that you're right. Like, I know that I'm right, and just seeing yourself, like, you know, in that position where you don't know what the fuck to say, because you absolutely know that I am right, and you're just like trying to invent new things, like, you know, it makes me super funny to watch that thing. Super funny. Super. So, like, and also it's incredible to see like the face of the person that didn't expect you to respond, because if you're constantly like, you know, silent person who doesn't like really talk to anybody and stuff, guys, like, you know, my camera, like, my iPhone just died because I have no more, like, you know, memory and stuff. But I was simply saying that it's like, you will love the feeling of like seeing the face of that person like who disrespected you when you stand up for yourself, because that person didn't expect it, and that person absolutely knows that you're like you're right. But so that is why it is so funny, like, to see how they are going to react. Of course, they're going to be like people who disrespect you are going to be like speechless and stuff. But yeah, I am going to, like, you know, delete some stuff so that I can keep uploading, you know, maybe the second part of this video, because I still have a lot of things to say. And yeah, I love you guys so much. Slay, my little teenagers. I know a lot of you guys who follow me are like teenagers and stuff. I love you so much. You're strong. Keep loving yourself, and I see you in the next video, inshallah. Bye, my loves.